Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time if you are new. I have a video that I have been trying to film for a really long time, and I've put off all the reasons why I can't do it, and I'm doing it anyway. So I thought I would make a video on how I came up with my own preschool curriculum. I didn't feel like spending hundreds of dollars on curriculum for a 4-year-old or 5-year-old. So I made my own. And I thought, especially with everybody having to kind of last minute maybe do preschool at home or maybe even kindergarten at home, if you also don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on curriculum, then this might be helpful to you. So whether this is something that you had already planned on doing, or if you had to change your plans and now all of a sudden you have to figure out how to teach your kid at home, this might be helpful to you. So keep watching to find out how I save hundreds of dollars on curriculum. So just a quick disclaimer, I do live in Texas. We are a very homeschool friendly state. So check the laws for your particular state before you decide to homeschool and before you start making your own curriculum. So the first thing that you'll have to decide is, what are you going to teach your kid? What subjects do you want to teach? ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, shapes, colors, those things are pretty obvious for especially a preschooler, but what else do you need to teach, and how are you going to teach those? I use this teacher approved Get Ready for Pre-K. Hopefully you can see that with the glare. I use this to determine what subjects I was going to teach. They also have a kindergarten one for that. I do ABCs, numbers, colors, and shapes. I rotate those every week. So one day I'll do colors and the next day I'll do shapes. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s I do every day. And then occasionally I just throw in like a same or different, bigger. Patterns is part of math. And I throw that in randomly as well. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason because it's preschool. That's the nice thing about preschool, is it's very low pressure. You don't have to spend a ton of time on a particular concept. And I really let his interests guide me. We're currently, if you actually look behind me, we're currently learning about Abraham Lincoln because he had some money that had Abraham Lincoln on it and he got very interested in that. So we're just randomly learning about Abraham Lincoln. The other thing that I did, if you don't want to purchase these books, you can also just go on Google or Pinterest and just search, what does my kid need to know to go into kindergarten? Because you need to know where they need to be so you can figure out what you need to start learning. And then you just kind of back it up, right? So they need to be able to recognize all their letters and know letter sounds. I don't actually know if they need to know letter sounds, but if you're planning on putting your kid back into the school system, it's really important that you know where they need to be to go into kindergarten. If you're not planning on putting your kid into the school system and you're going to continue homeschooling, then it doesn't so much matter, because you can go at your own pace. You don't need them to know a certain thing at a certain time, at least not in the state of Texas. So Google or Pinterest, what does my kid need to know for kindergarten or kindergarten readiness? And it will give you a list, and a lot of times they're checklists, so you can go over things with your kid and check what they know. So once you know what subjects you want to teach, you need to know when you want to teach them, how often. Like I said, I don't do all of the subjects in one day. I actually, is a very official, very complicated system that I used to come up with our schedule. I just wrote all the subjects on Post-it notes, and then I moved them around to figure out how I wanted to do this. So I have Monday through Friday. We don't always school Monday through Friday. When he was in swim lessons, we didn't do any school on Mondays. We did Tuesday through Friday. So if you don't want to do 5 days a week, don't do 5 days a week. So anywho, how did I come up with what I want to teach each day. I went through the preschool readiness information, wrote down the subjects that I wanted my child to know. So ABCs, 1, 2, 3, Bible, colors, shapes, and then I have like a miscellaneous theme, which is like where Abraham Lincoln falls in. And then I just put them on a piece of paper and decided how often I want to do each one. I didn't want to do shape and color every time because honestly he knows those pretty well. And so I'm mostly just reinforcing that information, and there's a lot of fun activities you can do with shapes and colors, like arts and crafts and things. So we rotate those. Then you're going to need to go and get some activities to do with your child. I personally like playing. I like the idea of play school, especially for a preschooler and kindergartner even. I don't want my kid to be sitting there doing worksheets. That's not fun for him. Some kids really like worksheets, so you can do more if your kid likes that, but Will doesn't like to sit there for that long, and so we don't. If we're sitting at a table, it's because we're playing some sort of game, doing a craft, or a very hands-on activity, but he doesn't sit there and do worksheets. He finds it really boring. And at this point, it is extremely important to me that he just loves to learn. I want him to love school. I don't want him to dread it. So I have this thing. So I use totschooling.net. I'll link it down below. I also use a ton of activities from Busy Toddler. I love Busy Toddler because they're all hands-on. Most of them are active. So for example, I will put Post-it notes of the alphabet on a wall and say, run and hit the letter that says S, and he'll run and hit the S. And that's school. Pinterest also has tons of ideas. So many ideas. I just type in, for example, when we were learning the alphabet, I would type in learning the letter S activities preschool. And then I would see what pops up. Or just alphabet activities preschool. We've been doing school games, is what he calls them, for about 1.5 years. And I don't pay for them. Everything I've gotten is free, with the exception of one activity. I do buy supplies, so we have some counting dinosaurs that I paid for. I have tangrams that I bought, but these activities I have not paid for. Let's Play School is another place that you can get activities. Those are not free, but they're really fun to do. Okay, so at this point, we've decided the subjects that we're going to teach through our kindergarten readiness information, or the teacher approved book, or Pinterest, or however you found that information. So we have our subjects. We've decided what days we're teaching what subjects and how many days a week. And then we know where to go get our activities to teach those subjects. We've found our school games. Now we need to organize all those school games. Because as you saw with my file folder, I started out with one that was like that big. It was very small, and quickly outgrew it. So I upgraded to that really big one. I'm pretty sure my husband got it for me on Amazon. And so I can print things and laminate them, and they stay. This is like a tracing one that I laminated. You could just print this whenever you want to use it, but I laminated it so he can use some wet erase markers, and we can reuse that. This one I got from totschooling.net. They're little school buses, and it has a color, and then the colored charts match that, so they match the purple people to the purple bus, or the green people to the green bus, so on and so forth. I come up with our own games where I take number flashcards, I hold up the number and say, what number is this? 5. Okay, get on your trampoline and jump and count to 5. Really, really simple, but he loves it because he gets to jump, and that's so much fun. Okay, so back to how we organize all these activities. You saw my file folder. I just have it divided by categories. So I have like letter games, letter coloring sheets where I just printed off a letter and he can color it or decorate it or whatever we decide to do. And I have number games and number tangrams and so on and so forth. So that's how I use that. Right now I am mostly using Trello, which is a free app to organize all the things. It's originally made for business productivity, but I use it for a lot of things. The baby is kicking a whole lot. That's very distracting. Oh, if you're not actually following my channel, I'm 20 weeks pregnant and that's what I'm referring to. Here is Trello. Let me pull it up. So this is how I have my activities organized on Trello. It's actually really hard to do. So 1, 2, 3, I list them all and I link to the website that I found them on. So I need ABC activities. So I can come here. I want to do a name recognition. So I'm going to do that and click on school bus name recognition. Hopefully this isn't backwards for you. And then it has a link to the website that I can find that printable, so I'm not having to sift through Pinterest because I pen things all the time and then I never reference them again. But this way I can keep them all together, and it's easily categorized by subject, and I don't have to remember where I saw that, what website was that on, and it just makes my life a lot easier. I have also used Google Sheets for this. I just put a hyperlink in, but I found Trello to be a lot more user-friendly, and you have a lot more options, so I can link things from my hard drive if I've already downloaded it. If it's on Google Drive, I can link it there. So it's just a lot easier to me, and I already use Trello for a lot of things. I also use it for my lesson planning. So since I use this for lesson planning, so I can just take this and copy it over to my lesson plan, and I'm not having to go a bunch of places. Before I was using Trello for lesson planning, I still kind of use this, but it's a little different. I go through Trello and I plan all my activities and I link them and do all of that stuff. And then I use these folders. I already have a video of this. And I just pull those activities for that week and put them in the folders, so that way I am ready to go. I put them all in on Sunday and I'm ready to go for the week. Everything, I just grab the folder for that day and I'm ready for lessons. Okay, so that's great. We've figured out what we want to teach. We've figured out where to get those activities from, how to organize our activities, and how to set them up for our week, either using folders or Trello or however you want to do your weekly lesson plan. But now we have to actually teach it. And I don't know if you know this, but it's really easy to make a plan. At least for me, it's kind of like making a budget. I can make a budget all day, but then you have to actually do the budget. Now we have to do the lesson plan. And especially if you have multiple kids like I do, that is really hard. So now let's talk about time management when it comes to homeschooling. I use a block schedule. I'm gonna make a separate video on this, and I've talked about it briefly in other videos. I'll link one right here that goes into some detail on my block schedule. But basically, I block out chunks of time and assign specific tasks to that block. So I have a morning block that's from 7:30 to 9, and that's the block where I do my devotional, I get dressed, I make breakfast, we eat breakfast, and that's all done between 7:30 and 9, ideally. And then I have an outside block where we play outside, and then I have a school block. So everything has its set place, because otherwise I would probably never do school, because I would get caught up, either we were playing or I start cleaning something or whatever, and then school just falls by the wayside. So I make a block schedule. Everything has a time and a place to get done. My other tip for time management, especially during preschool and kindergarten, is keep it short and sweet. We are not spending hours a day on school. We aren't even spending an hour a day on school in preschool. He's 4, and I think at most we spend 30 minutes. At most. And a lot of that is because I have a 17-month-old, and a lot of my time gets taken up by making sure she's not wrecking whatever we're doing, or having her help, you know? So even if you are only spending 20 or 30 minutes, sometimes you can't get all of that done in 20 or 30 minutes, especially if you have younger kids that you're taking care of too. They have needs. They fall out of chairs. If you watch my vlog for my block schedule, she fell out of a chair. And so your time gets split up. So we might do a story here. We did Bible lessons on the couch in the morning, and then 30 minutes or an hour later, when I was able to put my daughter down because, you know, her life fell apart when she fell out of the chair. And so she needed me for like 30 minutes and I couldn't put her down. Finally was able to put her down, and then we go back to lessons and we do some more for 10 minutes, and then now it's time to have a snack. And so you can do some here and there, and again, it's preschool. As long as they're having fun, that's really the most important part. So that's the biggest tip I have, is be flexible. Be flexible with your time, be flexible in your expectations. If it's just not working that day, if it is causing more frustration than it is fun, stop. Don't do it. It is not worth making it a miserable experience. It is more about the bonding that you're having with your kiddo. It's more about their experience with school and learning that relationship with school. And if it just becomes a battle, it's not going to be fun for either of you, and especially in preschool, it's not worth it. Save that battle for middle and high school. You'll have it then too. And my last tip, slightly less important than being flexible, but make a plan for your younger kids. My plan is generally that she's gonna be in the middle of it, and she's gonna be doing it too. I might print out 2 copies of a coloring sheet and she's gonna color with us. Or I get a similar activity for her, like if I have that school bus activity that I showed you a second ago, she's gonna wanna have some of that too. So maybe I give her a couple of the colors Will's already done. Or maybe I have another activity that's sort of similar to that, where she's Velcroing and unvelcroing things, because that's what she's gonna wanna do. Or she's gonna wanna eat it. But either way, I've made a plan for her. I have something for her to do. I've anticipated the fact that she's going to want to be at the table with us. And so I have things for her to do while we're there that's not necessarily taking over brother's stuff. Although she's probably still gonna try to do that. And I just have to know that and accept that and deal with it as it comes. Hey look, I just had a kid wake up. He waited till the very end of the video. So that is it. Those are my tips for how I make my preschool curriculum, how I actually implement my day and make it happen. I will say, it does not always happen. We didn't do school today at all. I woke up and allergies are bad, and we played outside for a little bit, but we've just kind of been bums this week, really, the whole week. I think we did school on Monday. Today is Thursday. It's preschool. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine. Be flexible, have fun, make it exciting, don't make it harder than it needs to be, and it'll be great. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already joined our family. I will have some videos of our homeschool day, our homeschool routine coming, as well as how I do my block schedule in more detail. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video.